The best section in this session is now. So lean in. Let's peer into the mind of a potential client. When they're looking for an attorney, what are the things that matter to them? This was a poll that was in-house counsel looking for a law firm or a lawyer to help them with a problem they had. And I believe it was an ABA poll that said, what makes a difference to you when you're looking? And just take a moment. You're welcome to hit pause here if you want and kind of dive into this. When a potential client, okay, it's a business or it's a person that has a problem. I just got sued over this contract. We're having issues with expanding into Europe. We've got environmental problems at one of our sites and we're not sure how to take care of it. Whatever type of law you do or whatever type of problem that person has, what will they find important when they're deciding on you? So look at this. The very first one there, a recommendation from sources they trust. 92% of the time, that is the most important factor. And remember, we looked at that just a minute ago. 65% of the time, they're going to call the firm that was recommended or the lawyer that was recommended to them by somebody they trust. Hey, we just got sued on this. Didn't you have this happen to you about 2 years ago? Who did you use? What happened? Oh, we used, Hiram Smith over at Smith & Jones, and he's great, and here's what the results were. We had some issues when we almost went to trial. We settled at the last moment, I would definitely call him. Here's his contact information. That is all happening, and you don't even know what's happening. But now, like any of us as consumers, it's like reading an Amazon review or a Google review. Hey, Hiram came highly recommended to me. 65% of the time, that's why I'm hiring. They're not even looking around anymore. Wow, how powerful is that? Your bio on the website, articles and speeches, blogs, LinkedIn, all these other things matter, and you should pay attention to those, especially when you combine them, like that second one, the bio on your website, whether you're a solo or a small firm or in a mid or large size firm, making sure that your bio is up to date or the information on your website is up to date is important or somewhat important 91% of the time. So that's pretty powerful as well. If you're wondering about areas where you can improve, here you go. BTI Consulting is one of the heavyweights in consulting services in the legal industry. They work with a lot of law firms. They work with a lot of high-end clients, like Fortune 500 types. And they'll work with them on some of these issues. What matters to you when you're working with your client? With your lawyer? What are the most important things you look for in a lawyer? Etc. They had a newsletter just come out fairly recently when they were saying that the most important, so this is supporting that previous poll, the most important factor is a recommendation from one decision maker to another. And then this was that point I glommed on a moment ago and shared with you. I found this astounding that 2/3 of the time, decision makers hire the first firm recommended. So client outreach, staying top of mind with your clients, couldn't be more important. I shared this once before that somebody was saying that if your clients are counting the law firms they use on their fingers, you better be one of those fingers, right? You better be top of mind. You better be on the tip of their tongue so that they can recommend you and you get hired. Saying the same thing here, 2/3 of the time, right? Okay. The power of an unsolicited recommendation. This was BTI's number. Remember I think it was the ABA poll said 92%. 92% of the time they found that to be the most important factor. Here we're learning that 77% of the time they reach out for a peer referral. Kind of like us. If you're moved to a new town and you're trying to find a chiropractor or a dentist for your kids, or you want to go to a good Thai restaurant and you talk to a friend that says, here's the dentist we use for our kids. You do that. 77% of the time, people who need legal services do that. It's kind of a natural. It's kind of how we assess options these days. Let's take a look at the potential client journey. This comes from our session on building and curating your referral network. This is what a potential client does before you get a phone call or before you get an email. And we're going to stop at each one of these because you can have a great impact here on their experience, their potential client journey. So first thing they do, as we've seen, they do a phone call to their peer or an email or whatever. We have this issue. We have this problem. I have this problem. Didn't you have something similar? How did it go? Yes. Use Hiram over at Smith & Jones. Okay, let me go to their website, check out a bit on Hiram. Let me look at his bio. Let me go over to the practice group page, back to the bio. Let me go to their LinkedIn profile and take a look at what Hiram looks like on LinkedIn. The same group, BTI Consulting, calls LinkedIn the new bio. You have to be there. 81% of the time, a potential client is looking at you on LinkedIn. Then, if they like everything that they see, they're calling or emailing you and you're getting hired. But what's above that last cell there is all the stuff that's happening in the background and you don't know it. But if you pause at each one of these and say, hey, I want to be better, big part of business development is making yourself available to get hired. LinkedIn, you know what? Let me get better at that. I only have that little gray avatar. Why don't I have a picture on my LinkedIn profile? I'm not connected to many people on LinkedIn, yet I know so many people. Your bio. I haven't updated my matters on my bio for 3 years. Okay, I can have a positive impact on my bio. And our practice group page, we've done a lot of new stuff in fintech or AI or whatever that our practice group page reads like 5 years ago. Or your website. If you're a solo or a smaller firm, your website is your exposure to the market, to the internet. And the phone call, that very first one, is they're calling a peer. Hopefully that peer is a client of yours, and hopefully that client is recommending you. You can take actions, and in the takeaways, you'll see some of the actions that you can do to improve each one of these. So I think having a proactive, positive impact on your ability to generate new business, why we're doing these trainings, why you're here, can be impacted by something so concrete as these suggestions here.